In this video, we're going to talk about 2.1 Objective 4, where we determine whether a statement about data makes sense. Our first question asks us to determine whether the statement makes sense or is clearly true or does not make sense or is clearly false and explain clearly. The survey asked people about their party affiliation and recorded the responses as 1 for Democrat, 2 for Republican, 3 for Independent, and 4 for anything else. And the survey found that the average or mean party affiliation is 2.5. That doesn't make sense to average these values together because this is qualitative data, not quantitative data. So B. While the data are coded with numerical quantities, the data are not quantitative in nature, thus it does not make sense to find the average of the responses. So that's what I said. Determine whether the statement makes sense or is clearly true or does not make sense or is clearly false and explain. Zip codes are quantitative data because in general, lower numbers are in the East and higher numbers are in the West. No, that doesn't make sense. Just they're qualitative. Zip codes do not represent a count or a measure of distances from any reference point. Zip codes are qualitative data. That's A. So let's look at question 3. Determine whether the statement makes sense or is clearly true or does not make sense or is clearly false and explain why. Los Angeles reached a temperature of 100 degrees Fahrenheit today, which was twice as hot as the 50-degree Fahrenheit temperature in Denver. No, Fahrenheit temperatures are not ratio, so we can't talk about twice as hot like that. They're interval. So the statement does not make sense because, while the data are quantitative, the corresponding measurements has an arbitrary 0 point, implying that ratios between values are not meaningful. So that's A. And then last question for this video, determine whether the statement makes sense or is clearly true or does not make sense or is clearly false and explain. Miguel took 36 minutes to complete a statistics quiz, which is twice the time taken by Luciana. Those times are at the interval level of measurement, so that wouldn't make sense to talk about twice as long. If it's only at an interval level of measurement, you would need a ratio level of measurement to talk about half as much time or twice as much time or something like that. So A, the statement does not make sense because both differences and ratios of time make sense here, which means the times are not at the ratio level of measurement. They're at, which means the times are at the ratio level of measurement. Sorry, I stumbled over that for a second, but I said the right explanation at first. So it doesn't make sense to say that they're at the interval level of measurement because they are at the ratio level of measurement. All right, that's it for this video. We'll come back next time and talk about 2.1 Objective 5. See you for the next video.